Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. This episode, we're going to be talking about Project Zomboid. Finally, someone is playing this game. Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, Neva, and Iron Harvest. But first, my name is Christian.
My name is Nick.
My name's Jeff. No, just kidding. It's Amanda.
And I am absolutely stuffed to the gills with Girl Scout cookies, but more on that later.
More on that in like one fucking second.
Like 2 seconds later. That's part of the joke, man, but you've buried the lead there.
God. Right. Yeah, that's my bad.
I don't get jokes.
I don't get jokes sometimes. All right, well, Amanda, Emilio, you're fighting for this plug, so duke it out. What are we plugging?
Go ahead, Amanda.
That's right. That was easy. Wow.
Take it.
So the first thing I'm going to plug is DLG Con. We're starting this stuff up. We're about to, plan it together, work through it. I think it'd be kind of cool if we did it around some sort of actual convention like Comic-Con or something else. But I want to hear from you guys. So we have in the Discord, there is in the announcements if you want to scroll. Otherwise, I have brought back the DLG Con planning channel that's underneath the social tab in Discord, which once again, you can find our Discord from dlgaming.net. And in that channel, I have a link to the poll. And so please take a poll. This way I can plan it based on what you guys want to actually go to or when you guys want to go. And so this way then we can try to get the majority.
Amanda, just in case a dozen listeners have joined us since Nick had his 1.5 million views on short form content. What is DLG Con? What are we doing here?
DLG Con is an awesome time for all of us to get together, get pretty messed up. Usually there's some swimming involved, a lot of board games involved, a lot of gaming involved. And it's a blast. It's like, we just had our game night this past weekend, yesterday. And so if you want that, but in person with food and fun and getting to meet and hang out with everybody, then it's a good time. Typically, I try to get big houses that have a cool spot, a lot of neat things. We've stayed in places like Texas where we had smoked barbecue. One of the members of the community was smoking brisket for everybody, which was amazing. I saw paradise light up in Emilio's eyes when he took that first bite of that meat. And if you know, you know. But so we've done that. We've done Vegas. We've gone to San Diego a few times, been down water slides, all kinds of fun stuff. But if you're super stressed out by a bunch of people that you haven't met yet, I try to get big houses where there's little nooks and crannies where you can kind of hide and chill or just spend some one-on-one time or like a 3v3 kind of thing with somebody. This way then too, everybody can kind of be brought into the fold and have a good time and enjoy themselves without getting too overwhelmed or stressed out by the amount of people. So it's a pretty fun time of all of us hanging out together and playing board games, video games, and actually getting to hang out instead of just listening. Most of the time, I think majority of us casters are there every year. And so come hang out with us. And yeah, it's a blast. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to be this year, but that where it's going to be and when it's going to be is in your guys' hands, the listeners. And so we always start that by doing a poll. And so please take that poll. Then this way, if you're like, I want you guys to come to Wisconsin, we'll vote for it. And so if you put in Wisconsin, then, there's enough people that want to do it, then we're coming to Wisconsin. So we'll see.
Well put, Em.
That's great.
We gotta, very nice.
Well, I don't know what con it is, but we got to find like a stripper con or something that relates to us real well.
Flat Earth Con, I think it's.
No. Fuck no.
Just kidding. I'm joking.
I wear my Channel 5 News shirt. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll start interviewing people.
Yes, yeah. Or you know what? We can go to a Cookie Con. And so, if you guys want to check out Cookie Con, Emilio, what's that like with your kids and cookies and everything?
It's chill. I'm shilling for my own kids. So my 5-year-old is a Girl Scout Daisy. That's the smallest version that you could be. God damn, they're cute in their little blue smocks. But then the older one, who's 12 years old and very, forward thinking about her life and stuff. She heard that looks good on your college resume if you are a Girl Scout. So she's like, I can outsell this little bitch. So she started selling her. So right now they're
your household is torn apart.
Yeah, it's torn apart. It's like it's Trump Biden all over. Like nobody knows what's good. So anyway, it's up to you which one. Just like DLG Con, it's up to you which one of these little kids wins. Watch both videos. It's talent versus cuteness. It's old age versus youth. It's the battle of the ages.
Mila's like, look at that little twerp. She can't even put Legos together. It's not even fair.
So that's what's happening. If you want to find the links, it's on our Discord. And don't buy cookies if you can't afford it or don't want any. But you got to go to our Discord, man. Go to dlgaming.net and you will find all things us. From there, you can hit the Discord button. That'll take you to a bunch of cool people that are kind of into what you're into. And cookies.
I like
what's
that
funny
listener
is that
journey ending in cookies.
as somebody who looks like they're very acquainted with cookies, so one time I got a job and it was like my first ever office job, and I had a coworker, and this guy was like Bobby if Bobby was even skinnier somehow, and he's like, my daughter is selling Girl Scout cookies. If you'd like to order some, please fill out this form. And I was like, well, did she have like a goal or something? And it was like some like arbitrary number. And I'm like, well, how many more does she need? And he's like, she needs 32. And I was like, I'll order 32. And he's like, excuse me. And I was like, yeah. And so I bought cookies for the whole office.
What's this guy, Eeyore, the donkey, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah, he's very monotone, very like emotionless, like probably doesn't want to live anymore. But yeah, I paid like I think it was like $60 something and then taxes or whatever for the Girl Scout cookies, and I gave them away to people in my office and stuff.
Wow.
So
you're a power user. So which child are you supporting in this battle of the house?
I can't choose, so therefore I will support Jacko as a third party who we know won't win, but he will. He's still on the ballot.
Cookies.
Nice.
He'll get some cookies.
Yeah,
we love you, Jocko.
He loves okay. Like, dog has no neck. Of course he loves cookies, dog. Yeah.
All right. On this show, we ping things, which is just noting something interesting. I have nothing to ping. So, Nick, what are you talking about?
So yeah, and a lot of people say that this is a PC gaming podcast. I think that's stupid. It's not. All of us play things on our Switches or our Steam Decks or on PC or on our phones or on tabletop or just games with people's emotions, but the Switch 2 got announced. A lot of things have been shown. There's not a lot of like concrete details, but like the things that did get leaked following the announcement, like the circuit boards and the video cards and all the other things that were coming with the Switch 2. Essentially, what people have worked it out to be is that the Switch 2 will have the power of a PS4, which is decent, right? I guess you can say. Obviously, like 10 years ago, relevancy as far as graphics go, but they don't really need that stuff. Thank you, little dude. Sorry.
Good night.
Good night, buddy. Sorry.
Good night.
I love you.
Good night.
Sorry, that was my daughter, Vivian. She'll take some cookies. But one of the weird aspects of the remotes for the Switch 2 at least is that they don't slide anymore. They kind of slot in. But there's like this little optical receiver that's on the inside of one of them. It's where like it goes into the Switch itself, and everybody says that receiver is the same receiver that's in it's in your mouse. So a lot of people think that the Switch will now have mouse functionality, and it's like a big deal because like people don't like the motion controls for the Switch when it comes to buying shit online. It's very easy to like check out with the wrong credit card when you're trying to buy something. And you never know what they could do with a mouse on a Switch, right? Nintendo always pulling shit out of their ass, and you're like, all right, dude, like I don't know what you're doing with these games anymore.
The Wii,
still
I guess.
Fun. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's very interesting, like some of the stuff that they've teased, but they haven't really explained that much. Essentially, it's a PS4 with modern day graphic technology and programming. Is what they're saying.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it's I believe it's magnetic. The controllers snap on. That's why there's a whole thing about the sound that it makes.
On the trailer, I noticed that they zoomed in really intensely into the Joy-Con, and they have this like ring protecting the Joy-Con that like filled in the space. And I was like, are they saying there's going to be no more controller drift? Because that was
no more stick drift,
dude. We had our Switch for like less than a year. And I mean, we played it it was played in this household every day, but the drift was so fucking bad. And then you had to wait 6 months for Nintendo to send it to Nintendo and wait for because everyone was sending it. And yeah, I just was like, I know of no other controller where this happens so quickly.
You want to know what I ended up doing with ours? Because we had stick drift with both of our sets. I just bought these $12 sticks on Amazon and then just swapped them out myself. And my fucking super fat ass hands and these little tweezers moving like connector ribbons and shit. And I'm like, like I'd miss like 6 times. I eventually fixed them, and now both of them are fixed. So it's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you did that.
Nice.
Another reason why we're PC gamers is my Pro controller on the Switch also has one of them is just we just left it alone because it has drift as well. Might be a software thing. I don't know.
A lot of people don't realize that if you have kids, they chuck remotes into couches and shit, or they chuck them onto surfaces, and the stick is laying on the ground, and that eventually causes stick drift.
That's definitely happened to me too. That happens to me here. I'll just throw my controller somewhere. I'm a child, and I throw my controller somewhere, and then I'm trying to like do something with my mouse, like go through like some roguelikes like menus, and I'm like, why can't I click? It's going. And I'm like, oh, my shoe's on my controller.
I'm fighting my ghost controller. That's awesome. What are you thinking this week, Emilio?
So I was going to bounce off Amanda, but now I'm all fucked up. But anyway, Beat Saber. I'm going to try to lose some weight. I talked about this last week. I haven't done it, but I've taken steps towards this. So I bought some. Oh, they're right here. Ankle or wrist weights. I'm going to play some Beat Saber.
Those are ankle weights for normal human beings, not for cavemen.
I had to go, you know. And so we'll see. I've announced my diet plans on this podcast before, and I'm still 270 pounds. So we'll see.
I'm telling you right now, dude, if you play multiplayer, which I will play with you, and so will Leslie, if you play multiplayer in that game, it makes it even more fun. And it makes it you watch each other fail or you watch each other succeed, like, because you're playing the same song at the same time, but you can look up top and like in the top right a little bit, and you can see the other person swinging and shit and missing.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can play it to 8 people.
That is awesome.
It's really fun.
You down tonight, Nick? Just to try it out?
I already took a shower today. Goddamn it! I don't want to take another shower.
You Girl
man.
Scout. You fucking 60 case Girl Scout eating motherfucker.
The thing is, do you have it on Quest on the Quest store, or do you have it on the Steam?
No, it's cross-platform. I found that out the other day.
Oh shit! All right,
No,
yeah,
it's
I might play with you.
Oh, that's really cool. But I mean, still, do you have it through Steam or Quest? Because that
Steam.
ties into Steam. Nice. Okay, I have Beat Saber as well through Steam, and there's a really cool thing leading into what I'm pinging to piggyback, I guess, off of you, is that they had this like massive tournament that came out called Extra Sensory 2. And so it was a special event that happened on January 18th. And basically what it was is that there were all these different mods, and they had a whole bunch of people come in to all verse each other and play this. And it was like a massive multiplayer event, like 200-300 people. There was a bunch. Ooh. And then they were cutting people out that weren't keeping up with how like good the rest of the crew was doing. And so they have all these different mods where they really found a way to really push the limits on what you can do in the game to not only like alter the environment, but the entire block slashing experience to begin with. Like they had like a modded level that I watched of like the back rooms, and it was crazy. Like there was this jump scare in it, and like they had almost full 360 like slashing of blocks, and so from all over the place that you had to move and turn, and it was just absolutely beautiful. There were like no tracks or lines or anything, just the blocks coming through, and it was amazing. There was it's just really incredible what people have been able to do with mods, and especially I think in a world like VR, it blows my mind. And so they have a whole Synapse thing that you can download from like their Extra Sensory 2 website. And so you can check those out. But yeah, I would put a link in the description of this like page that they have of their event and tournament, where you can find everything there too. And so I think it's just so cool. They have different sabers. They had an entire level that was all like drawn black and white. And the sabers you had looked like these really beautiful, elaborate wands. that you would then cut. And the crazy thing with like the backroom one, especially though, is that some of the blocks were actually really blurred out like a static in TV, and you were not supposed to hit those. I don't know if it summons the monster. I'm just going to say it does because it's just crazy, but it's so fascinating what they've been able to do and how they've been able to mod these things. They had one that was the Outer Worlds, the Outer Wilds, and that was like really cool too because you kept getting closer and closer to the planet, and then the planet explodes and you get like sucked in. It's amazing what you could play on Beat
cool.
Saber. So
you guys should get some mods,
cool.
play multiplayer, you know, record some fucking scary ass Beat Saber.
Hey, Daze, I'm a little confused on what you were saying. Was there over 100 people playing at the same time doing the same thing?
That's
and they
at
were
least
knocking out.
Well, the video that I was watching, like that's what it looked like, is that they had streamers playing, and they were able to pull up their Twitch chat while playing, which is hella distracting. But then at the end there would be basically like a total high score thing, and it would go all the way down to like 200 and some people, and it was for the tournament. This is for the tournament, and so I don't know if they did some sort of mod or did something where they allowed this many people to kind of play multiplayer all against each other at once. I'm assuming that, I guess, but because at one point, like after the backrooms match or whatever, there was like a little thing that this guy saw in the event that was like 200 and some players have been eliminated, and like they're just done, like they got kicked out of the tournament, they weren't able to continue on with the mod. So I think that was just a tournament thing with this event specifically. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of really cool ones.
It's like not the Hunger Games. I mean, kind of like the Hunger Games. This Korean cooking show that's like super intense, but it was like, imagine like Beat Saber. It's like all the drama, all these Beat Saber. Anyways, Amanda, what else you got?
The other thing that I'm going to be pinging is that the interview with Benjamin McCarthy is out about his Game Boy game that he made from scratch. There's a ROM for it, so you can play it on the PC or your phone if you have an emulator. I've been playing it off of my phone, and what it is it's basically this like story action RPG where you are this Astro child and you are navigating building VR worlds and trying to like impress your dad and connect with your family. And this thing happens where you get separated from your family and you have to get back to them, and you go into all these different worlds and planets doing that. But the game plays really cool. Like there's moments where it's like a platformer, and then there's these big cinematic scenes, and there's puzzles in there, and there's a lot of like driving and shooting and killing things. And so it's a really awesome and amazing game that I just think is really impressive, given that it was an artist and a musician who then said, you know what, I'm just going to try making a video game inspired by my music and art. And it's a solo dev who made all of this, and he turned it into a Game Boy game that you can actually play on a Game Boy Color or play on a ROM.
It's
and so that game
interview.
is called, and it's awesome. The solo dev artist and guy that made this is Benjamin McCarthy, and the game is called Dream Shark, and it's part 1 out of 3. And so he got started on Kickstarter, was trying to raise like 10 grand for the project, ended up raising just shy of 30 grand. And so he just keeps the momentum going, and he's planning on making part 2. And we had a really wonderful interview. I thought it was super inspiring, and he's really, really cool. I saw him at a market randomly at Portland and was like, what is this?
He was so vulnerable during the interview. Like you really got a sense like he was a struggling artist, and he went on this journey and he produced this thing that looks awesome. And I was listening to the music while I was editing the episode, music from the game, and I saw on his website he had vinyl for sale. And I was like, I think I gotta get this. Like the soundtrack kind of fucking slaps, bro. Like it's so good. Yeah.
Well, so he said that he was going to make a vinyl of the 8-bit music that's on the video game. The vinyl that you saw, so that's what was kind of fascinating about him, I think, is that he started as an artist, as a struggling artist, then decided to learn music and become a musician, formed the band Dream Shark, the band, and then his first vinyl for the band, the artwork that he did for it inspired him to make the video game.
Jeez.
So the vinyl would be very different in a way. Like it wouldn't be like the 8-bit. It's a full like band. And so but I agree. I was like, after interviewing with him, I was like, shit, I gotta go back down to Portland and buy his fucking vinyl. Like,
well, I want the vinyl from the game music. I haven't heard any of his other music, but the game music is something I would want in my house going while I'm doing chores or folding laundry. It's just great background soundtrack, like a lot of video games.
He did such a good job. Yeah, he made the music entirely too, completely. He said it was a really fun challenge to take all of his, because he does, I think, a lot of psychedelic rock, I think is the genre that he typically plays in, and he wanted to make it like really fun and pixelated, and that was a fun challenge, kind of like simplifying it even though it's complex, at least for what he was trying to do. But yeah, it's such a fascinating person. Definitely, I think it was an amazing interview. I highly recommend everybody to check it out.
I've got a crush on this faceless man. Just saying.
Just wait till you see him. You're going to have a crush on him when you see him. He's a cool guy. You guys would love him. Yeah, he's really nice.
Invite him to DLG Con.
Yeah. Yeah, come on down. All right. Yeah. Moving on down to highlights. So these are games that we have been playing. And Nick wrote out, Christian should go first, do Iron Harvest. I assume because maybe Nick has more to say about Project Zomboid, but
no, only because you haven't talked in a while, and I feel like you've been silent so much.
Oh, that's so equitable of you. I don't need to
Way
talk.
To call attention to all of it, dude. Fucking Jesus Christ, dude. That's two. That's two on this episode. You're just walking all over it, dude. All right.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not smart enough to understand what's going on. Nick, so tell us about Project Zomboid, if you will.
Sure. So me and my friends have been playing Project Zomboid for the past 2.5 weeks. I took a week off because I went to go visit my dad because he had major back surgery. And boy, howdy, I've been playing this game so goddamn much. I think in the last week and a half, / like 2 weeks, I played at least 19 hours. And
nice.
I can't get enough of it. Whether it's playing by myself or playing as a group, it's like a game where... Have you guys ever seen that Malcolm in the Middle episode where the dad is trying to fix something and then he keeps having to go back and back and back and back and back, and there's always another thing to fix, so he has to, like, eventually he's like cooking something and then the wife comes home, he's like, I'm trying to fix the light in the bathroom or something. Anyways, what ends up happening is in this game, that always happens in this game. As soon as you have like this little sense of feeling of comfort or peace, there's always something that has to be done. There's always something that needs to be acquired, needs to be maintained. For example, one of the things in this game is the zombies. It's called Project Zomboid. Well, there's a lot of them by default, and when you start killing them, you're going to get blood on you. Well, you're going to start smelling if you don't have ways to wash yourself. And when you wash yourself, you become wet. And when you're wet, you're more prone to getting sick, or you're more prone to having accidents. There's always a payoff and a reward and a payoff and a reward for every single aspect of this game. What's really cool about this game as well is that Project Zomboid has all of these classes, and they're not really classes. What it is, it's your job before the apocalypse happened. There's like lumberjack, handyman, construction worker, doctor, like video game nerd. Like there's all these other things that are there, and it's like, I think there's 20 of them.
By the way, I'm literally all those things you just mentioned. I come in with all those stats. Minus the doctor.
Yeah, of course. What ends up happening is that each one, most of them have like their unique like abilities, right? And my favorite is the veteran, because they have what is called desensitized, and that means they don't get panicked when it comes to just killing zombies all day. You can, like, normally if someone has like just a normal character, after killing like the 10th zombie, your character starts to freak out. They're like, why isn't this stopping? Why are there so many of them? And when your character panics, you begin to miss. You begin to drop stuff. You can trip over a fence and drop your glasses if you're nearsighted, or drop the weapon you have in your hands.
I saw a clip where someone dropped his glasses, and that sold me on playing this game. I was like, what is going on? He's like, has this like cone of what he can see. He's like, I dropped my glasses. I need my glasses. And he picks up his glasses, and then he's fucking surrounded by zombies. He's like, oh, fuck.
If you were going to like wrap it up, it's a zombie survival simulator.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You can play this game multiplayer. I would strongly suggest, if you just start playing this game out, do not play on a live server. That means where time passes even if no one's logged in. The reason being is there's key moments in the game. There is the beginning, and the beginning is where you have your energy still on, and you have water access still on. And so you can go to the gas station and get gas. You can turn on your refrigerator. You can turn on your stove or microwave or a tea kettle, whatever you have, you can turn these things on. Now, there's a random dice roll in the beginning of every game, and it's a number between 0 and 19. And whatever number it lands on, and it doesn't tell you, is the day that the gas and the water and the electricity are turned off. Once that happens, shit hits the fan real quick. Your food starts to rot. You're going to be eating canned ravioli all night. Like it's you can't do anything in your house in the dark most of the time. Like reading is difficult. You can't watch TV. And so your character gets bored. You got to find crossword puzzles. You got to find magazines, or you might have to kill zombies for fun if your character likes doing that. Dude, this game has so many aspects to it. Like I could spend an hour talking about it.
It's so intense.
And Nick, it's funny because like you're a lore guy, and there's no lore in this, but it's almost like you're building your own lore.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So what it is in the beginning of the game, whenever you start a new character, it's not, this is Project Zomboid, blah, blah, blah. It says, this is the story of how you die. That is what it says.
There's no winning.
It's so good.
There's no winning.
Is there no winning?
There's no winning.
No.
You're
There's
meant
no
to,
winning.
Okay.
It's just how many days can you make it before you die, right?
Right.
There are mods where you can quote unquote win. And that involves like surviving to a certain day and getting to a certain place for a helicopter pickup. And like there are events in the game. There are events as well. There's like a helicopter that shows up and starts shooting at you if you're in the open because it thinks you're a zombie. There's like a fog event where this fog rolls in and they can't really see you, like the zombies that is. And so you have to walk around and like sneak around, and you can get a lot of stuff done in the fog if you know where you're going. A lot of people go to St. Louis, which is the main city, or sorry, Louisville, which is the main city. And then it ends up in like being the hub of all the zombies, but along with like the gun stores and like all these other things that exist that really help you out. It's just, dude, if you like somewhat simulators and you like that's not over the shoulder. What is it called? It's an RTS view. You're looking like God. You're looking down.
Top down.
It's top down.
Well, yeah.
It's hard to explain the I don't know the proper term for the angle of it.
I forgot.
But essentially, it is. Dude, I'm looking at my pixelated 3D virtual fighter lurking character, and I'm like fighting zombies, and I legitimately get scared. Like I'll turn a corner and I'll open a door, like trying to hide somewhere, and there'll be a zombie in there, and then there's this loud noise. It's like super loud, like horror movie sound noise.
That's
and
exactly
I'm like,
the sound. That's exactly the sound. That's it.
Yeah. And,
Dude, I'm so excited because at the end of your thing here, you say you're playing with friends, and maybe my friends talk more, and I'll tell a story about it later. I can't wait to hear, because I assume this is something you're going to keep playing and keep talking about, maybe.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you the story now if you want. It's not that long. So essentially, it is very dangerous to go out at night. Sprinting so the zombies can hear, smell, and see you. I mean, they can touch you too, but hey. What ends up happening is that it's very dangerous to go at night because your cone of vision is terrible, and having a flashlight is suicide. And so what you'd usually do at night is you put curtains on all your windows, and you close the curtains. You turn the lights on low in your house. If you can do that, you turn on like a lamp or two, and you read. And your character, when they read, if they read like an electrician's manual, they gain experience in that skill faster, like 125% faster. And then you can also watch TV if the TV channels are still on. And if you have VHS tapes, you can watch VHSs that teach you how to do things when there's no more TV channels. But the VHS tapes are rare. Anyways, it's nighttime, and nighttime in our world is like 45 minutes to an hour. In the game, it's whole nighttime. It's 8 or 10 hours. But there's like these hour-long periods that we get at least twice a night where we're all just sitting in the house. No one's panicking. No one's freaking out. No one needs anything. And we're just shit talking the whole time, or we're just talking about random stuff in our lives. And yeah, we've talked just a lot about our friendship as in general, and like what we expect for things to happen in the future. But it happens like every time we play. So
it's like a
really
real
nice.
hangout, like a real just
it's
solid...
like a real hangout. But we're covered in blood. My character's name's Mike Oxlong, and we also have Big Tony and and a couple of other people. But it's been a blast. I strongly suggest picking up a copy. I think for like $10 when it's on sale. And if you play by yourself, play by yourself. If you can get friends, try to play with friends. I would also, and this is one of the games that I would ever say this, watch a little guide before you play, because there's so many things that you don't know, or you can be intimidated about this game that, like, for example, you can rip up sheets to put on a bandage. That's pretty normal. But you can also put a bandana over your mouth so that you don't your character doesn't have a panic attack when smelling something terrible. And so yeah, check it out. It's Project Zomboid.
Deep, dude.
It's so
isometric
awesome.
Tarkov with zombies or something. I feel like it's so hardcore, dude.
it's so good.
It's very hardcore.
I love it.
I mean, not to make it sound fucking more than it is. It is a video game, but humans bond the most when they do difficult things together and accomplish things, difficult tasks together, like whatever it be, put out a fire or fucking go to war, stuff like that. And you guys are doing these very digitally, sure, but still very difficult things. And then when you guys are shooting the shit, that's the best shooting the shit there is. There is no shit shot better than that.
Yeah, I have to say, it's been one of the best things for our friendship, besides playing like Magic every other night, right?
That's awesome. So wholesome.
But the other thing is that, and this is outside of that realm. This is a build of the game that will be ending fairly soon, and I'm talking about the next 2 to 3 months. Build 42 is coming out, which is like this big deal because you have actual animals roaming around that you can hunt, and like you have all these other aspects of the game, like muscle strain, which doesn't exist in the game right now. So picking up heavy shit can hurt you, and you may need to lay down for a day. Bodybuilder is one of the perks that you can choose now, but it ends up being if you play now, you'll get like the perfect little training session before like everyone returns back to the game. So like all the veteran players have stopped, and they're like, once build 42 comes out, I'm coming back. Once build 42 comes out, I'm coming back. And so yeah, right now we're like getting our testing done. We're not playing super serial.
Hey, Christian.
Nice. Hey.
Can you peek behind the curtain a little bit? Do you have any anything about a game studio that would rather, like a Project Zomboid or a Deep Rock Galactic, that rather keep and improving the same game over and over and over and over forever, as opposed to like making new games all the time? Is that something that's ever come up in talking to these devs or anything like that ever?
Yeah. Well, so the trend in the industry, I think, on the big side is like live service everything, battle passes, games that never end. But on the indie side, how that seems to be manifesting is like, we're going to just not monetize that aspect. We're going to keep working on the same game and release updates for it. Essentially, it is a live service title. They're not charging you for that, but they are iterating on it again and again. And yeah, people are super receptive to that, and they fucking love when that happens. So yeah, definitely a strategy. And like, how many reviews does am I reading this right? 280,000 reviews on Steam or some fucking bullshit. Like, people love this game, and it's still in early access. That's awesome.
I love when that happens too, but unfortunately sales can only ever go down, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You can keep them going, but you can't ever have a huge spike like you did at the beginning. Anyway, I respect the hell out of it, and I hope more studios do it, because these are two great games that do it. I don't know how business savvy it is. I guess as long as you could keep paying your employees, then you're in a good spot.
Yeah, and I think it was in 2023, and I don't know if it's held up since then, but Bobby interviewed Soren Lundgaard, who's the CEO of Ghost Ship Games, publishers of Deep Rock Galactic, and he was saying that was their best year in 2023 sales-wise for the game. So it had only gone up and up, but they did some things. They released on console, and they have cross-platform, so they did some optimization to reach like a different audience. But I mean, that's pretty fucking good, dude. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. I'm going to talk about something that's not Project Zomboid. It's called Heroes of Hammerwatch 2. I talked about it last week. It is a top-down action roguelike, but as I was playing it, I'm like, this kind of feels like Diablo. Because, and then I started thinking, what really is the difference between a roguelike and a Diablo, an action RPG? Like what, basically in an action RPG, you're going out there, you're killing and getting a bunch of gold and getting new items. You die, you respawn, and now you're stronger because you have that gold and your items got better. And then I'm playing this roguelike, which is the essential like core tenet of this thing, and almost exactly is the same mechanic going through, which is not bad. I mean, action RPGs are popular. I guess really what it is the random build that kind of comes up. What was different in this game that I've never seen before is you have trinkets, but usually in these games you have a trinket slot, but not this game. This game, any trinket in your inventory affects your game. So I think I ended my last game, which was my best game I ever did, with 32 trinkets. And they all have these random little modifiers and they stack and all this stuff. So that's why I got so far, because I had all these trinkets, adding all kinds of craziness to my gameplay. So anyway, it has a 16-bit graphics, and I never got into the first one. I talked about it last week, but this one, I don't know, had something calling to me, and I'm glad I picked it up. I think it was about $12.99. The combat is repetitive because you're fighting kind of the same creatures per zone, but it is exciting because just about any, like when you're fighting at the level that you should be, any enemy can end you if you're not smart. You can't really be lax. I feel like in ARPGs like Diablo, you're just grinding. It becomes monotonous. But this, like literally every encounter you could die if you weren't on your game a little bit. You got to be present. And I also like, and I haven't seen this in a game in a long time, where you can go back to the level 1 creatures and just blow them off the screen. Like
blow the screen off mode.
Just fuck you guys. Remember that time you killed me? You could just like end them so easily, which is kind of nice. But it's also the reason that I almost left this game, because I kept walking through level, let's say, I'm air quoting here, I walked through level 1, through level 2, level 3 to get to level 4 where I died. Later on, I found out there's shortcuts that actually get you back to level 4 without. So I was like, this game's so dumb. And
this is like you in Skyrim, dude.
Yeah. But it's not, there's no hand holding in this game. Like,
right.
I actually have to look up how to level up, because you have to build out a certain town part and stuff like that. So there's nothing. There's not any story really, except for, hey, fuck this cult. Let's build up this town again. Let's see. Very little hand holding. I'm literally reading it verbatim. So when you're building your town up, that's what gives you. That's how you get stronger, right? So this is what I didn't know. If you up the training yard, that's how you unlock levels in your skill tree. And then there's a bunch of them. There's like the monastery, there's the architect, there's the tavern, there's a store, and all of them make you stronger. And it's kind of cool because like you're making it stronger and you're seeing this town really come together. And it's kind of like a visual representation of the progress that you've made. Like as you see this town getting stronger, you're literally getting stronger, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's a cool thing. So there's almost no story, and I've been playing it for about 8 hours, and it's funny because a lot of times I'll be like, I'm just done with this game, and then I'll just keep going for another 3 hours. Like there's a very much, even though there's not one more turn feeling of it. Every time you play is, if you have a good run, ends up being like an hour. So it's a long run. It's kind of a commitment, but you can pause and pick up where you left off, with a lot of roguelikes don't do. So I give it it's not the greatest game I've ever played, but I do like Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, and I think it's deserving of the $15 or so that I paid for it. One thing, just if you're planning on picking this up, I thought I was going to keep dying and making new characters over and over and over with the different classes, but it's not really like that. It's kind of like you pick a class, you pick a character, and that's you for the entire game. And so there's no incentives to like branch off and try the other ones. You can at any time, but I thought that was kind of a fault of the game, or maybe I'm missing something in the game. But like, yeah, it's just like, why would I go start over at level 0 with something I don't like?
Fuck. I want to play this game just to build my town, even though I know that's like not at all the point of this game.
It's half the point, really.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, it's
all
half
right.
the point.
Yeah.
Speaking of town building, kind of, maybe in a way.
What's the
Iron
segue?
Harvest? No.
Iron
RTS.
Oh my gosh.
No, dude. No. Oh, let's go to Amanda. Man, what do you got?
Yeah. So I just got kind of some quick ones. I talked, I think the last episode about the game Neva. And so I'm so close to finishing it. I'm so close. I'm like 4 hours in. I've gone through so many seasons. This game is gorgeous. I highly recommend it. Definitely worth the best impact. It's a fun platformer with high art, pretty easy puzzles. And as I continue on into the game and go even darker and even deeper into it, it just like it got even more beautiful and like really fascinating the way that they've used the angles of camera and lighting and really what they're trying to convey. The fighting's been cool. I can like launch my wolf to go attack something and knock down like structures to jump on them. And so super awesome, fun game. It's been beautiful. And I'm hoping that like in the next day or two, I'm going to finish it. I honestly think I'm going to beat it the next time I sit down and play it. So I'm so close to the end, which is great. So I'll talk about that. Otherwise, the only other thing on my highlights that I've been playing is Tag Loro and I started a new run in Baldur's Gate 3 where we are basically just two little tiny munchkins going around like little woodland creatures. I am a deep gnome druid, and he is a halfling wizard, and it's just been fun. It's been very trolly. We're talking to all the animals, and everybody in the grove is giving Taylor free drinks and food, and he's a halfling, so he can't say no. So it's been pretty funny, and like he got me started too on this new kick again of RuneScape. I know nobody's heard of it, but like, I used to play so much RuneScape back in the day when I was like in high school, and especially multitasking. I think these days it's become like the ultimate idle game. And so I've been really enjoying having two screens because I'll play Baldur's Gate 3 on one and then like RuneScape going on in the background. And like, bro my
that's so
mining,
dangerous, dude.
my mining is going to be level 99 by the end of this. I mean, like...
So in RuneScape, can you set up, I don't know, in Star Wars Galaxies, the big thing was a lot of effort to take out certain like materials from the earth or foraging. And you could just run a macro on your computer to do that, you know, while you were at your real job and come back to all this resource, which you would then spend and do in the economy. Is that like RuneScape? Like you don't have to actually click mine?
You know, I will say that I know that RuneScape has put a lot in to fight that, because they there were levels where
economy.
And that's true too. There's a huge economy too that is like linked even to real life money and membership. Like you can basically grind and sell enough things to buy yourself a membership, or at least that was the other day. RuneScape has split off into kind of two different worlds. I'm not exactly sure when they did it, but they did a like 3.0 like release where they changed the whole game. They changed the way combat is. They made it a lot more kind of like WoW, where you actually click on certain like skills of fighting and abilities to kill, which is very different than the old school RuneScape. And I found out the hard way that there's two things. So like I had taken my old RuneScape character because she was like level 97. And like I've almost maxed out a bunch of different skills because this was when I was in high school and I just fucking grinded everything. And I imported that character from old school RuneScape to the new RuneScape. I found out that if you do that, that character is stuck now on the new RuneScape.
They're stuck in
And
the
so-
new dimension.
You can't go back.
Fuck.
and you can't bring it back. So I am stuck now with the new one. But I don't know. I kind of like it. Like, I like it. To me, like, a lot of people really hate it. I guess there's way more players playing the old school RuneScape for the nostalgia than the new one. But I kind of like the new one. I think that the updates to the graphics are really cool. I like the new quests that they have on there. I don't mind the combat that they've changed because let's be real, like, unless you're a member, like let's say you've got like a character that's above like the level 60 or 70. In my opinion, it's gonna, unless you're a member, you're kind of just grinding all the other like skills. Like, you're gonna spend all your time cooking and mining and fishing, and so it's like, who gives a shit about the combat then? So I don't know, maybe that is a hot take that, like, I don't care about the combat. So like, to me, I don't mind the new RuneScape. So, and I think it's fun, and I love that I can play it on my phone. I was like literally watching so many episodes of Invasion this morning, because that's what I've been watching, is Invasion on Apple TV, and like just mining. I'm just mining so much rune and coal. It's gonna be great. So
You're a
it's just been
miner,
really
dude.
easy. I'm a super
Okay,
miner, and
so-
then I'll move on.
I tried RuneScape. This is the RuneScape on Steam, right? New RuneScape. Yeah, it is. It has the same branding as what's on the website.
Okay.
I was like, why is this in 3D? I was so confused. I tried RuneScape, the new one, and then it hit me with like maybe 50 different types of currency in the first 15 minutes of the game. And it was like, buy this with real money, buy this with real money. I was like, I'm forging my first sword in the tutorial, dude. Like,
Yeah.
come on, let me bake in the oven before you
Yeah,
want me to spend
for
all this
sure.
money on the fucking game, bro. Like,
No,
so
for
then
sure.
I
The
uninstalled.
microtransactions kind of are super annoying, but I feel like they're a little bit better. So, like, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, Captain Gummy actually reached out to me about RuneScape and was like, dude, let's get back into it. And I was like, oh no, I don't know. I've spent so many years of my life playing RuneScape on the side with everything. And I joined it, and the same thing happened to me. It was like tons of pop-ups and like constantly hitting X. And I was like, this sucks. Like, I don't like
Yeah.
that it feels grimy. But this last time, like, I just started playing again, I think like 3 or 4 days ago. It's not as bad. There's like one pop-up of like what the event that they're doing, and then that's it. Then I'm back into
that's
my
good.
thing. And so it's not, I don't think it's as bad now. I want to say that they listened. And what's cool about the old school RuneScape, the really old one, is that they've kind of done some updates to that too. They've added these like polling centers where people can poll and make decisions in a democratic way of updates and adding new things to
What
the
the
old school
fuck?
RuneScape.
That's amazing.
Yeah, which is really neat. And so like, I'm honestly like pretty impressed and pretty happy, but like, I have truthfully shifted my mindset about RuneScape than how it was before. Now I look at RuneScape as like something that can always be going on in the background, or like I play it on my phone, like a mobile game now, instead of like the game that it was, you know,
Yeah.
which I was super into the questing. I got into like with the clans and went fighting in the wild and was like in the role playing. I was super into role playing on RuneScape and I loved it. But that's not what the game is to me anymore. Now it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 and I'm focused on that. But when I'm waiting for Taylor to take his turn,
I'm mining.
I'm mining. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But yeah, so that's, you know, I've been kind of like basically tying up the loose ends of games that I have been playing lately. So I guess those are my highlights, is that I plan to finish Neva, and I'm really enjoying this new journey of playing Baldur's Gate 3 with RuneScape, and I'm really hoping that Tagloro can get his stuff fixed too, so that way both of us can be mining in the background together while also heading our way to Baldur's Gate.
Any interest, Amanda, on Brighter Shores? The creator, or one of the co-creators of RuneScape, has released a new free-to-play game called Brighter Shores. It's on Steam, released the 6th November 2024.
Dude,
in
her
early
face
access.
just changed completely. She went
Yeah.
from jovial to the most intense, interested
I don't know.
look
I
I've
mean-
ever seen.
I feel like this is like a core community. Like, I don't know many people who know that this has happened, and I think they're kind of keeping it, you know, in the testing phase, only core community for now. But it's on Steam and anyone can play it. So,
That's cool. Okay, add it to library. Yep.
yep.
Yep. Done.
I wanna-
Done.
RuneScape
dude.
and Brighter Shores in the background. All right, guys.
Christian.
Hey.
One thing about you setting up macros to like level up.
Yeah.
I remember when I was playing that game, because one of the very cool things about that game was you never knew that you were force sensitive unless you maxed out. Every character, I think, had to max out 3
Randomly,
pillars, right? Randomly. And that would unlock force powers.
Mhm.
So one that you could by default get very good was dancing, I believe. Everybody just went and did the dancing right away because you could just do macros. Yeah. These are like memories. I don't remember my childhood, dude, but I remember this somehow.
Unlocking
I
things
remember the
within you.
macros.
Yeah.
Mila's like, Dad, how was your childhood? You're like, I don't know, man, but I got damn Star Wars macros down in my
I
head.
was dancing. I was fucking dancing in the cantina.
I was a Twi'lek. I was dancing with all these androids. It was a great time.
My Leku was flaying in the wind, bro. Nick, you are sinking into the mud.
I am. This is where I want to be. I am the
Throw him a
bog
rope.
monster now.
Throw him a rope. Throw him a rope. Okay.
You said Jocko has no neck, dude. Jesus Christ.
Nick has no body. Oh, look at that neck. Beautiful. Get that guy in the cantina.
18-inch neck, son.
Iron Harvest. So this is the game we played for DLG Game Night. It's like an RTS resource capture game like Company of Heroes. So in a lot of RTS games, you know, you send your peons to the gold mine. They bring back the gold. They bring back the lumber. What Company of Heroes did is do away with all that. You get resources by advancing your military units to buildings on the map that then send resources back to your base automatically. So there's no like worker management or anything like that. And it's more about the fighting over these points, which is fun. Except unlike Company of Heroes, there's huge mechs because Iron Harvest is based on the board game universe of Scythe. Other than that, mechanically, from what I can tell, nothing is the same, but all the story is borrowed from this board game of Scythe, and the nations are borrowed from it. So you have Polania, Saxony, Rusviet, and Tagawa, which is like, you know, obviously one's Japanese, one's Russian, one's Polish, one's German. And they vaguely have those histories in game, but what happened in their timeline is they invented mechs, which, you know, changed things.
Instead of tanks? Or alongside of tanks?
Yeah, I think it's a World War I alternate history. Instead of tanks, they went mechs, which we were so close to having a better world with mech. Anyways, so we played this, a lot of iron. We played this on DLG Game Night, which was so fun, and I'm so glad that you know, so many people came out to play RTS games, which is like one of my favorite genres. And I didn't know how many people in the community was, you know, I didn't know how many people were going to show up because I figure most people maybe don't play these games, but even people who don't play RTS games kind of came out and had fun on Iron Harvest because we were all starting from the same point. I felt like a grandpa, and I don't think I'm bad at RTS games, but I felt like a slow ass geezer compared to fucking Cricket Soldier, who's a listener member of our community. He's like, oh, I haven't played this game before. Dude. Yeah, dude, he's got
that VA Adderall.
He's so the VA Adderall. He's so focused on all his fronts. I see his mouse cursor going all over. His units are going like 3 places at once. I'm like, dude, what is going on in that brain? You are so organized in how you are going throughout the map and taking these objectives. Like, I can't keep up. Anyways, so I was always on Cricket Soldier's team, so that was helpful. We had a great time. We split up into 2 groups. Then we played some StarCraft 2. We played some Gartic Phone before. These game nights are going to happen once a month, and they're organized by Taylor. So come to the Discord, vote on what games are going to be next for next game night when he posts the poll, and come out and have some fun because it was great. We had like 15-ish people in there.
It was
dude, for an RTS night, that's quite a bit.
It was it was a really great time. I think StarCraft 2 was actually I had a blast playing Iron Harvest as well. It was my first time playing, and like I was there too at the game night. And I think though that StarCraft 2 was really the funny moment because so many of us were joining, and we played some like cuties mod, and there were these little like cutie defense, and there were these little like squishmallow looking creatures running at us. It's like, it's hilarious, dude. Zap was clutch, and yeah, we all realized like halfway through that it was truly co-op, and we really should have built all together.
Yeah. I wanted to find a co-op game for everyone to play. Custom maps, obviously, they can get ridiculous, and we played this like cat and mouse game, if you know that custom mode from Warcraft 3 where the enemies are really big. So they take up like 3 or 4 tiles, but you're really small. So what you're doing is trying to build like these mazes where you can get in, but the squishmallows can't get at you, and you're building towers and getting resources and stuff. But eventually the squishmallows shrunk down. They fucked us all up. We were totally, yeah. And you know what I found out was cool about that game? There's like meta progression. So StarCraft 2 will save the progress you made after the map ends, and the next time you play that custom map, you put a code in and it reloads your save. And it's fucking great. Like
That's
these modders,
cool.
dude. Yeah, I love that.
That's so cool.
Hey,
Yeah,
Nick,
that
I
was
got
so
a question for you.
What's up?
Can Project Zomboid work for a game night? How many people can you get on a server?
Up to 200.
Up to 200. Okay. Now, can the people who die keep watching the people that lived? Because that's what's going to make the difference, I feel like.
I don't know, but there's probably a mod for that. There's so many mods for this game, and the cool thing about the mods for this game is that only the host needs to download them. And then it does a thing where like it auto downloads, and auto applies. And so there's so many people who have
panspermia. That's what it's called.
Don't know. I'm not getting the joke.
Just an excuse for this guy to say sperm, dude.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
What I will say is that when you die, your character does become a zombie. But yeah, we got to get that synced up. That needs to be the fucking the thumbnail for this episode. Holy shit, dude!
Panspermia.
I still don't. I don't know.
I don't understand.
That would be a
fun-filled world.
Makes sense.
Nick, would it be fun in like a 4-hour time period to do that? Or does this game need like a long time to kind of get there, to get to be fun?
So what's nice about this game is that you can accelerate it as much as you want. There are sliders as the host where you can put like XP progression times 10 or 1,000 or whatever. Like zombie health, low. Like you can make it as much as you want.
Okay.
But what I will say is that Project Zomboid is intended to be played long term, like day 47. You know, like my foot has been, chewed off by a zombie. Like it's supposed to be. It's supposed
that's the
to
thing,
be,
dude. Once it comes back to you hosting game night again, like you could just pick up the server again. I don't know.
That is true. I don't know if I'm going to be hosting Project Zomboid for game night. I don't know, man. That's a good question. It might be. Fuck, it is a good game to play. And yeah.
On the surface, it sounds fun. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I gotta think about that. Sorry.
Yeah. One more thing on Iron Harvest. So I did play a little bit of the campaign, and the cool thing is that it's expanding the lore of the board game, which didn't have that much lore. And it starts with this real personal story of this young Polanian, girl in this village, and it's teaching you the cover mechanics in the game, so how to hide behind things to take less damage, how to sneak around, and it does so with a snowball fight with you and fellow children. So this super serious game.
That.
Yeah. Oh, you played this game?
I love that. Oh yeah, no, I played it when it first came out. I talked about it on the podcast.
Oh shit!
I shared the trailer. This shit was awesome.
Yeah,
a lot of things didn't work though when it launched.
Yeah, there was lots of problems on launch, but I mean, to me, it felt pretty smooth to play now, but what a cool way to like grip you into a story. Like how many tutorials have we all gone through? 100, 200? Like it's rare that something surprises me in a way that grips me into the story and makes me want to keep playing. For an RTS game, I mean, unheard of. Age of Empires 3 people or Age of Empires 4 people, take note, okay?
I know we're running long, but I got to interject because too many things are coming into a head here.
Okay.
When I just did mushrooms in the desert like last weekend, I was there with a special operator, like a special forces type motherfucker, killing people type guy, right?
Okay.
So he starts. We were talking about like, I don't know how this came up because I don't bring up video games because they're not video game players, and he brings up a game with mechs where you call them down. What is the one where you call them down while you're playing PvP? Titanfall 2, and he starts telling me the story of him and his mech and the story, and he gets emotional and like starts getting choked up about how the mech sacrificed itself at the end and like how good that was. And I was like, so sick, dude. Look, because this guy never opens up about anything, dude. Yeah. Actually, he thinks, he's like, oh yeah, fucking cookies fucking suck. He's like, everything. And then just out of nowhere, he's just like, This
He's
me
got a
and my
thing for the
Mac.
Mac.
Out of
Yeah.
nowhere on
Yeah.
mushrooms. That'll fuck
Yeah,
you.
dude.
What do you call,
Out of
what do you call
nowhere,
it?
he started getting super deep.
People don't realize how good the story was for Titanfall. And then when Titanfall 2 came out and there was no story, people were like, what the fuck? And then they dropped it like 2 months later and people were ecstatic.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Bobby bought it for $2.99 and he still wants to return it. Still hasn't played it. Doesn't know what he's sitting on.
This is the greatest time to make fun or poke fun, I should say, at Bobby when he's not here to.
Well, actually, he's been on this podcast the whole time. Nobody could tell the difference.
Jesus. All right.
He's the
I
Mac,
can't think of
yeah.
something mean to say.
On the radar, games that have caught our attention. Emilio, hit us with Avowed. What's going on?
I'm glad I'm going first because I'm pretty drunk at this point. Avowed. So it's from Obsidian. It's a first-person RPG in the world of Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, which were good RPGs, but didn't have tremendous sales, which is interesting that they decided to do that world. But I guess there's less lore building when you do it in something you've already done before. Anyway, when I look at it, it looks like Skyrim to me, and that's exciting because I love Skyrim. It's one of my most played games ever. You can build your character any way you want: sword and board, dual wield, whatever. Oh, even everybody keeps talking about dueling wands, like akimbo, wands akimbo, just like shooting spells twice as fast. There's staves, there's all kinds of shit, and you can respec anytime, which like adds to the customability. If it's not working, you can tweak, which is pretty cool. There's 4 different companions. You can run 2 of them at any one time, and they all have deep stories. I kind of feel like, I don't know this, but I kind of feel like you're the silent protagonist and the story is told through the companions, which ones you pick and how you treat them. So because of how much emphasis there has been on the companion part. So I thought this was very cool. I've never seen this before. There's skill checks in conversation. We've all seen it before. You need 15 charisma to choose option C, right? That is in this game, but it's hidden from you. You don't know whether or not you're going to pass the charisma check or if there even is a charisma check before you pick option C. So, it's kind of like real life, like where you don't know if your charm is good enough to get you that discount on those headphones or whatever it is that you're buying. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that's very cool. I've never seen that before. I hope it works out.
Nice.
Yeah. Then the last thing. Oh yeah, it looks like Skyrim has big shoes to fill, right? Like even if it's 75% of Skyrim, isn't that a fantastic game? You know, hopefully. Anyway,
Yeah.
Headphones are on my mind because I'm looking at my dumb ass and my fucking headphones literally ripping at the seams as I'm speaking to each other, speaking to you guys. So I bought new headphones already and they're on their way.
Wow. On the
Nice.
I couldn't
We're real
take
happy
it,
for you, dude. That's
I couldn't
great.
take
Is
it.
that an avow
Send me the.
to your ears?
Yeah, I'm avowing to buy new headphones and not look like a dork
fucking
next.
Amanda, bro. No one else has Amanda. You don't have it like we have Amanda. Like we have the sleeper transitioner.
Yeah. It's a different age, you know, a different age, a different time. That's why like I'm gonna lead right into my on the radar, which is Arken Age. And this is also like in a fantasy world, not quite like Avowed or Path of Exile world, but its own, and it's a VR action adventure game. You're kind of set in this like weird, twisted like biochasm. It's a completely like terraformed world. And they have full physics combat and these infused swords and guns, and so you can freely explore and like you can check out all these different places, and it looks really interactive and like really involved in a lot of ways. The combat looks to be pretty smooth and pretty fun. It looks like it does a lot of this really cool play on like this nature versus corruption kind of thing. Maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of Invasion, but this really struck home to me because it just seemed like a really cool place between nature and like some Paleolithic era and the future and some really weird twisted alien form of somewhere in the middle. And to do that in VR is really, really, really cool, I think. And so it looks great. It looks like it would be really fun and really interesting. And so it has a lot of moments of like climbing as well. So you can climb and fully explore this entire world that's high fantasy and crafting as well. And so it looks
Emilio
dope.
wants in.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
First of all, it looks fucking sick, right? So I'm like, oh, am I gonna buy this? And then I was like, wait, if I put my wrist weights on, does that constitute as exercise as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
lose a lot of weight
Good.
on this
All right,
one.
cool.
Yeah, because you would be doing sword fights
Yeah,
with
I'm
weighted
looking at it.
arms,
It
and it would
looks
be like
awesome.
you're holding the actual sword, dude. It's just
Yeah.
immersion points. That's all it is. But yes, it's
Yeah.
also going to be exercise.
I am
Yeah.
double sold.
Yeah, just
Cool.
I mean, I just need to make sure that you're not gonna fall. You know, just make sure because if you fall, that's not gonna be good. You don't want to fall in VR, and then you'll probably get stabbed and die in the game. You know, because otherwise, then you'll end up with everybody falling, right? So tell me about All Will Fall, Christian.
No one has you. No one. We claim Amanda. You don't have
incredible.
this. We're
incredible.
We're talking about All Will Fall, physics-based survival city builder. That is the full name. And I say we because me and Nick both have this on our radar. So Nick, at any time, interrupt me when you find that you need to. It's a mixture of one of those bridge construction games, like the mobile ones that we've all played
Polybridge?
before. Yeah, Polybridge and Frostpunk. I mean, I saw that there was different options you had to do. Sometimes you have to kick people off this floating water world city, which is where you are building all these structures that look like, a little janky. Burn Division put this in Discord, so thanks, dude, for sharing that. And before any haters leave negative reviews on this game when it comes out, it's a puzzle game, people, okay? It's a physics puzzle game. So if you buy this game and you don't think it's going to be a puzzle game, don't leave your negative review saying this isn't a city builder, it's a puzzle game. I'm telling you, I'm warning you, it's clearly a puzzle game. I feel
kind
like
of disagree with you, dude.
Really?
That's not okay, so it's a little bit of both, right? But from what I saw it's a city builder where you have to take into account the waves and the storms.
Yeah.
So
So
if your city is not physically up to task, then it won't survive the storm.
yeah, totally. And that's
Yeah,
part
so-
of the puzzle. All city builders are puzzle games. I'm hearkening back to a game
now,
I played.
now, okay.
I
Sure,
played
buddy.
Lysera Summit Kingdom, and it had a limited amount of space to build your buildings, and people were like, this is a puzzle game. Negative review. I went, what the fuck? All city builders
see
are
what
puzzle
you're
games.
saying.
You made me angry with that review, random person on
I
Steam.
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So-
But totally. Sorry, Nick, go.
Yeah, one thing about it is that so I've noticed when watching the trailer and looking at some details about it is that there are different ways to play the game based off of your base, and I'm not talking about your buildings, but your actual foundation for your city. So there's one where you have two foundations. There's where you have one, which is like the easiest. There's three, and there's one that has four. And the problem with that is that you need to connect these foundations so that they can work together. And like you obviously don't always have the resources because your resources are based off of things that you find in the ocean or you send people out to go find. And what it is that you can't build bridges that are up to code if you don't have the resources. So you have to do this, like Christian said, like a puzzle-esque kind of thing. It's like, where do I devote my resources so I can connect my bases together and get this city rolling? And eventually you forget there's like a pseudo timer of the waves, right? And then you forget where your bases are or where your pillars are, and you can get really fucked over later on.
Yeah. This is super unique for city builders, by the way. It's a really cool spin. I've never seen physics and city building put together quite like this. But watching the buildings fall just seems so, like Jenga. I mean, it'll probably feel horrible in the moment, but at least it's nice and pretty, and it's like
I'm
destructive.
going to name my first city is going to be called Icarus.
Icarus, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's going to be called Jenga Stan.
Jenga Stan. All right, it's coming out 2025 sometime, unannounced, but yeah, this definitely caught my eye. And,
Super exciting.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Cool. Subs and donos, Emilio. Who has done what for us this live show?
I have no idea. Let me find it. Okay, here we go. Biblioclasm. 10 bits. Let's go. You're crushing it out there. We are indeed crushing
Thanks,
it.
dude.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Listener questions. And Nick, we're running a little bit long, so whenever you feel like cutting us off,
I'll do the first three, possibly the first two. All right, because the first one's a two-parter. So yeah, if you don't know, you can actually leave listener questions by going to dlgaming.net and finding our Discord. You can go to the listener questions tab and leave a listener question for either an individual or as a group. Also, we have other shows and other shows that are going to be coming up where you can ask questions for those shows as well, such as Marriage on the DL and MTG on the DL.
Wow. Somebody
That's
sent this guy a check.
Amazing.
That was
dude.
amazing.
The Red Bull kicked in. I'm just gonna say that.
Hell yeah.
It's injected.
Not
All right,
sponsored.
what do we got?
So we have our first question is from Brennan47. He says, I have a two-parter. Firstly, what is your dream car? It could be anything from a Ferrari Spider to the Mass Effect Mako. Does it have to be a car? I do have an answer for this. Mine is a Custodes jet bike from Warhammer. It has like a force field on it, so you can't really fall off. It also has like guns on the front of it, and it can go over like 250 miles an hour. It hovers, and it's just sick as fuck. Like you can go over mountains and go like it's insane. What about you guys? This is the first part, right?
Luke's land speeder. I don't know. I just want to go in a hover vehicle
Luke's
one
land
day.
speeder.
Yeah.
You don't want like Zabulba's racer, pod racer.
He'd crash.
Just show up to work.
Quadranero's pod race.
You don't want to have the.
Oh, by the way, this whole scene you guys are talking about, like all the like alien language was just Spanish sped up. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa?
Yeah.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Like it's all just
It's just all que pasa.
it's all just Spanish sped up. I swear to God.
all the symbols on Darth Vader's original like front plate was just Hebrew upside down. That's all it was.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Nice.
For me, at first when I read this, I was thinking just a car, because a pod racer would be fucking sick, actually, now that we're talking about this. But originally I had put the Celine S7 because I fell in love with that car with I think the Fast and Furious the movies. And they're coming out this year with a Celine 1, which is supposed to be kind of like a Celine S7 but new, and a supercar. So that would be mine because that car is sleek as fuck. And if I can get that in orange, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
This is one of those pivotal moments where I don't know if you're wrong by pronouncing it Celine. I've always heard saline, but
It's
I don't want to be a
probably
dick and
saline.
correct it.
Oh,
I'm
No,
like, that's
dude.
probably the
Ford
Midwest
saline.
talking or the mayonnaise talking, but
yeah,
like,
that's what it is. I was trying to figure out what it was. It's a Ford Saline.
It's the mayonnaise
wanna-
talking, dude. Yeah, I'm
gotta
probably
do the
mispronouncing it. Yeah.
You guys don't know that that's a callback to the Patreon pre-show, okay? So if you want to understand all the jokes on the podcast,
Yeah.
go to Patreon.
and then Christian or Emilio, do you guys have an answer for this one?
Yeah. I didn't know I love this vehicle so much until I got it virtually through another game other than the anime. So anime was Akira, where they drive around motorcycles with super fat tires, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it almost looks like a mech that doesn't transform, and it goes in reverse, which is very cool, and it brakes in the middle. It like pivots like those big buses, but it's just a motorcycle. Anyway, super sick. And then I got that thing in Cyberpunk 2077, and I just drove in a car in a game just to drive for over an hour, just driving, So I'm like, okay, that would probably be it. Oh, also the courage to drive a motorcycle because I don't want to die. And then go ahead, second part of this, Nick.
Well, Sniper, did you have a first part?
Yeah,
response?
Luke's land speeder. Yeah,
that's correct. Sorry, I missed that. That is my fault as the host the questions host. So the second part of this is, secondly, what
Bobby
is your
would have
practical
never done that.
Bobby. Secondly, what is your practical dream car? For example, your Chevrolet, Dodges, and your Toyota. Something's real, whether you have it already or not. My dream car like that is something called a K truck, but specifically there's like a luxury version where they have, so like K trucks, and by K I mean like I think it's KAI, and they are from Japan. They're right-hand drive. They're so small they can't be driven on the freeways in most parts of the United States, and their top speed is like 70, but it has the same amount of trailer bed space as an F-150 of nowadays, and it's like a quarter the size.
Yeah. I've seen people rock those around here actually, and bring in all sorts of stuff in the back.
They're super economic as far as fuel goes. They're not the safest cars in the world, but you know, who dies? But I love them. I love them so much. The dream aspect of it is that they are imports, and there are imports that are done by like custom organizations. Like you can't just be like, hey, Toyota, order me a K truck. It's a category of vehicle, by the way. You can get like Suzuki, Mitsubishi, all these other like a bunch of other brands, and I would really love a K truck. I think once Vivian starts getting a little older and we move into where we want to move and we get our forever home, I'm gonna save like $15,000 to order one, and just enjoy my K truck in Dublin, California.
My old Jeep. Oh, go.
I know that he has this dream and everything, but your Shrek ass is not gonna fit in a fucking K truck, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
they do have the best beds for sure. Because I've loaded things into one, and it's super. Like it's just the best. Our American pickup is the dumbest. Fucking.
It's no longer a pickup. You have the same internal square footage as a luxury large scale car, like a Camry.
That's what it is.
Yeah, dude. Like, I fucking hate these rural cosplayers like in the big city with this fucking lifted. I mean, like either you're a welder and you need it, or you're just fucking wasting space, brother. Like, yeah.
Meanwhile, mine is an F-150. Speaking of which,
in San Diego,
I absolutely love my truck. Totally. The only thing I don't like it's the mid-level one. I would love the highest level one, but also Ram is coming up. If it's good, that would probably be my practical dream truck, because Ram has a version that has a generator charging the batteries at all times, so you can get 700 miles off of one tank of gas.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Mine is a Jeep. I already had it. It had a winch on the front of it. I thought, surely I'm going to use this. Then I moved to the city, and I used it one time to get my friend stuck out of the mud when we were off-roading. And I went off-roading like 3 times.
Dude, that one time was worth it.
So clutch. Oh, let me get my fucking win. Yeah.
How can you win stuff?
I worked so hard to get, and I put a lot of thought into like what car I was going to get while I was traveling all across the US. I was like, I need something that can drive me over a mountain and parallel park in like New York City. And so what I found that does both of those is the Subaru Crosstrek. And so the new Subaru Crosstreks and the Wilderness editions, which have like a few tweaks that allow you to kind of go more off-roading with it if you want, is exactly what I would definitely want as like my dream car, especially in like a forest green. Love it.
We fucking love the
definitely Subaru Crosstrek.
You know these geolocating guys that like see one picture and figure out like where you are by the pictures.
Yeah.
The one guy was like, I'm just gonna randomly drop in places in Washington and see if I can't see a Subaru. And he, after like 9 times, he's like, it's impossible. You can't go on a city street and not find a Subaru.
You know, it's so funny when I moved to Washington. Yeah, I got a lot of not a lot of shit, but like a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, of course you drive a Subaru," and I was like, "Bitch, I bought a Subaru when it wasn't like I got my Subaru in Texas, like, and I've been driving that around for a while." But I just think it's great. Like it can handle a lot.
Yeah.
Like it can handle ice, it can handle mountains, it can handle city. Like it's really versatile. That's why I like a lot about it, and it's been really reliable. I love my Crosstrek. I've put over 80,000 miles on it the past like 4 years, and so gone
Beautiful.
coast to coast, and it's an awesome car. So I'd want to keep that for sure. But I want the cool wilderness edition because it's the cool one.
Forest green,
it's the upgraded
bitches.
one. Forest green, yeah.
There's one of those that it's blue and then it has like yellow trim all over it. It's so sick looking. I love it, dude. So our next question comes from Taco. What are your favorite games to play with a controller? I know this is looked down by some PC gamers, so I'm just curious. For example, I like to play Halo Master Chief Collection and Helldivers 2 with a controller over keyboard and mouse. I'm going to say the only game that I still play with controller, like actively, and I can't play it with a keyboard and mouse because I'll probably fucking die, is Elden Ring or any Souls-like games. There's just a dynamic feeling to having a joystick and being able to roll in the direction of your joystick versus being able to roll in whatever two buttons you can press.
It's more delicate.
It's more, exactly. It's a little bit more delicate. I would even say you could probably play it with mouse and keyboard, and if you've never played it with remote, you wouldn't be bothered. But I know people that have played with nothing but mouse and keyboard, and they switch to remote, and they're like, "This is a different video game." But yeah, that's my answer. What about you, Sniper?
I don't have an answer for this.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
right. That's
play
right. Sorry,
much
Emilio.
with controllers, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Emilio.
For me, I like to play with controllers, and I love using the Steam Deck for this reason exactly too. I feel like if there's any game that I would want off of my Steam, but I need a controller for, I'd either use a controller or I'd sit on the couch and use my Steam Deck for it. And so to me, that's any platformer. I'm a huge fan of platformers with controllers, and any driving game, I'd prefer that too. Even with like Cyberpunk, I would want the option to be able to flip back and forth to where if I got in a car and had a driving mission, I'd want a controller, but then for the other parts of the game, I'd want keyboard and mouse. And then otherwise, I don't think there's anything else. It'd be savage if Christian was like, "Oh, I love City Skylines 2 with a controller."
Yeah, fucking right.
I don't know. What about you, Nick?
I already said my answer.
Here, yeah, so it's me.
Oh, shit. My bad.
So I'm going to substitute your question and put my own question in there. My own answer to a question that you didn't ask. I like a hybrid. Sam and I only play one game together, and that's Binding of Isaac. And I play on the keyboard, and she plays on the controller, and it works out swimmingly. Like, it's so good because I
have to play on controller for that game, by the way.
Do you? You should have answered that. You should have answered that, Nick. No, I'm kidding.
Fucking called out. Jesus.
I can't play it on controller just because I have 1,000 hours on keyboard, you know? So, yeah, it works out perfectly because I can do basically the menus and all that stuff very quickly. And she is, in the sidecar or whatever. Like, it just works out perfectly. I love it.
I'm going to take over briefly, go back to Brennan. He said he has one more question. Do patron perks of forcing games on you guys and gals stack per year, or is it a one-time coupon? LOL. I think we haven't really talked about that. All our other patron perks are one time. So you get the stickers one time, the t-shirt one time.
I think it's one time.
Yeah.
There's too many of them. Yeah, we can't.
Yeah, we would be playing all year. We would be playing patron games basically. I think. Yeah. But Patreon is about to reset, or not reset, but we're about to unveil a new version of our Patreon, not 100% complete yet. So stay tuned. And then I think with that, we'll probably want to reset all the perks just so it's fair. But
and by the way, it was questions like that made us get through. Well, that's why we got rid of Brennan 1 through 46, dude. So
be on your best behavior. Yeah, think about what you're saying. And then he says, Christian, congratulations on the new baby. From what I've heard, Mara and my son Jack were born within weeks of each other. Cheers to the next generation of gamers.
Aw.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you so much. Mara and
Cheers.
Jack. Well, Jack, I don't know. You skimmed a little bit with the name. I mean, no offense,
What?
but
I
Jack,
love Jack, dude.
You
If
like
I had a-
Jack?
Yeah.
You probably like Jill too.
Nah, you got it.
No way. Dude.
Oh,
Nah, you got to get.
got
you
me.
gotta get, you got to get the new age Jack, the 2024 Jack, aka Jax.
Yeah,
I need
Jack.
my Mortal Kombat character with metal arms.
Fiddle arms.
Yeah. I'm just I'm playing around. Thanks, man. Thanks for and I wish your son the best too. That's awesome.
And this will be our last question because he's so faithful. And it's not like the next person that was going to ask a question is not faithful to the podcast. Warconius will answer your question next week. This question is from Tagloro. What makes a game trailer or announcement get you excited or interested in a game? What are some of your favorites, like the classic Halo 3 one? With so many games coming out these days, if the trailer sucks, I probably won't look further unless it's something I was already looking forward to.
I will say that, like, recently, it takes a lot more to get my
Attention.
attention. If you don't have gameplay, I am almost instantly turned off every time. Sorry. Just,
Right.
I don't care how good your CGI is. Like, that, it doesn't come cheap these days, but like there's not a lot of value. But ones that have stuck out, things that excite me though, if you show me a new mechanic or something that I haven't seen before, I am like, how excited was I about a fucking conversation topic thing within a game of how you check for your charisma or
You're in it
your
for specific
intimidation.
mechanics that haven't
Yeah,
been quite
absolutely.
explored that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what excites me, and other than that, I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
I just checked my name. I'm so sorry. But what excites me, you jogged my memory from the Game Awards. I was like, game trailers don't really excite me. But what did excite me was that guy talking about his personal development journey. And I realized I'm more attached to like the dev experience of making like a small indie game. It's like, this is from my nightmares. And this is like kind of what I wanted to do with it. Make a gameplay mechanic on my fucking terrifying reoccurring dreams. And what if there was a game based on being in a forever nightmare? And I thought, that's an awesome hook. I love that you explored that in this game a little bit. So yeah, that gets me excited.
What about you, Amanda?
That's great. For me, it's kind of, for the longest time, I was exactly like Emilio, where I was like, if you're not going to show gameplay, then like get lost. But then the Naughty Dog game got announced at the Game Awards, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, sorry. And I was like,
behind that too.
okay, this is awesome. So I'm interested in this. I'm also a big fan of any kind of trailer that plays on humor and does humor well. Like from what I remember with the Helldivers 2 trailers, they were hilarious, and I was like sold. Like anything that Justin, what's his face from Rick and Morty makes, usually his trailers are absolutely hilarious too, and like I'm pretty sold as well. So humor goes a long way, I guess, that I'm looking for when it comes to a trailer. Otherwise, just like the epicness of it, and of course, I feel like if it's like a really new mechanic and a new aspect of a game that is something I haven't seen before, then of course I'm going to be intrigued as well. But I don't know, it's kind of a mix. It depends on like the topic, you know. I'm a sucker for space like everyone else, it seems. I like a lot of
Space.
fantasy as well, but I like unique story too. So like if something is really fascinating with the story, either from the dev perspective or the thing itself, like Split Fiction's trailer I thought was really awesome too, because I was like, that would be really genius to like make a game inside of essentially a game, like where they're writing this story and together, and like you get stuck inside of it, and that's the game. I was like, that's really unique. I like that aspect of a story, you know? And so something like that would certainly catch my attention.
Love it.
Yeah. For me, the last game that really got me like this, and it's been a very long time where I'm like super hyped about something, actually didn't show gameplay at all. What's funny is it wasn't even a video game trailer. It was for Magic the Gathering. There was a trailer. I hadn't been playing very often before it, but there was a trailer called For War of the Spark, which was a set that was very interesting. It kind of saw all of these main characters come together and defeat this big baddie kind of thing, and the big baddie also had a bunch of good characters that were flipped onto his side, and it was set to Linkin Park, and it was like slowed down and covered by like a lady and her band. And the way that the trailer is just like the cinematography of the trailer was just perfect. The way that it follows the main character, like things get reversed back in time, and then it shows like the ending of the trailer, and you don't get like a distinct ending. You instead, you instead get like an open ending that makes you want to look into the story more, and that just made me want to play Magic so much. I was like, holy shit!
What's crazy about that, dude, is like how much money have you spent on Magic since then, dude?
Oh, so much. But then
So
again,
much.
like it's like I play as much Magic as I do PC gaming now. Like it's
I'm defending like money and effort being spent on advertising. Sometimes like you don't just sell the thing, you sell the whole thing.
The experience
Yeah,
of
Yeah. And then before that, like the moment where I became like a gaming boy into a gaming man, was the Gears of War 3 trailer or 2 or 3, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And it's the remix of Mad World. And
So
he's
good.
running through all the ashen people that have been hit by like the Hammer of Dawn, and he's like all these like bodies are exploding and like ashes and stuff around him, and like I was like crying, and I was like 18 or 19 or whatever the fuck.
So many people reference that one, dude.
Very emotional time.
Yeah. All right.
It was,
Before there is a rebellion in this house for this podcast lasting too long, just going to take over the next episode segment to say, next episode, something strange might be happening. One of us might have forgotten maybe the last 10 years of their life of gaming. And maybe we'll explore who forgot, what they should be playing, and what they missed out on. Emilio, do you want to? Yeah?
It might be someone who ate some mushrooms. It might be someone who thinks things are neat. It might be someone that only plays one type of game and is a counterculturist. We never know.
You never know.
Stay tuned.
All right.
Speaking
Get us out of
for
here.
Nick, Amanda, Christian, and myself, big fungal mushroom titties. Bye, everybody.
What are we listening to?
We're listening to Dream Shark, Part 1, the menu music.
Listen to the interview.